G'day and welcome back to Australia's best classic mini YouTube channel. On this very croaky episode with my voice, we are going to be fitting this engine into the Mk3 Classic Mini. So what an adventure this has been. At the time of filming, I've had this in the shed now for probably about 5 to 6 months. Not because I'm slow, but just, the whole process of building an engine is quite lengthy, to get the cylinder head done, to get the block, machine, board, the issues we had with the crankshaft. Quick story as well, as all you know, and if you don't, check it out on my channel. I did a straight cut gearbox conversion on Grace a few years back. We did the Rolston Classic, so myself and the customer, so Chris was driving my engine at that time, or driving my car, should I say, and he really enjoyed the straight cut box. And then it wasn't until we got home from the Rolston Classic, he rings him up and goes, let's do a straight cut box conversion. At this stage, I'd literally just finished assembling the gearbox. Everything was new. Had to pull it all back apart again and start again, but it's one of those things. I'm not really fussed. They're pretty straightforward to do, and I've done enough now that know how they work. But yeah, I'm just super stoked with this. And this is probably the best engine that I've ever built. And I don't say that just willy-nilly, and all the other engines I've done are just crap. But it's the best in terms of appearance, because this thing just looks $1 million. It's a Cooper-esque green, and that's the old original color. It's kind of like a, I don't know, olive green, pretty dark. Actually, just up against there, you can see a pretty big difference, but we wanted to try and keep it period correct, so we went with this. And yeah, just looking at it and looking at photos and this thing in the flesh just looks $1 million. Really happy with the color scheme. We went all green, pretty much the fuel pump, harmonic balancer, and the water pump. I just left the standard colors. I don't think there's any point in changing it. One thing you do have to remember is if you're going to paint an engine like this, components that you may need to remove down the track. So let's just say, for instance, the timing cover, or even the water pump, if you paint that and then you go get another water pump, for instance, you put it on, it's not going to be the same color. You're then going to have to repaint it, and you have to buy extra paint. So I figured, let's just leave that alloy. Same with the harmonic balancer and the fuel pump. That way they're all just unison. The only other thing we got to put on, obviously, is just the fan. The fan actually does go one of two ways, which we will discuss in another episode of Minisport. But it can either go this way or it can go this way. If you're in the UK, this faces outwards. If you're in Australia, down under, it goes this way. So just a quick little Tomo's tech tip there. I've got Sal and apprentice Kev coming over tomorrow night, so I'm going to do a little bit today, and then next part of the episode is the boys will be around to help us out. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be. I just wish I had seen.
So essentially I took yesterday off from filming YouTube because I sounded like a 13-year-old going through puberty, and I'm sure each and every one of you did not want to see or hear me do that. So here we are now. Now, for those of you who are playing along at home, had noticed in that last scene that I had actually caught the edge of the snout for the clutch release bearing on the side of the car. Unfortunately, I have actually damaged this customer's vehicle. It was actually sitting on the guard, it then dropped down to the inner lip of the wing, and then it fell in the engine, which then I had to lift it up and move the engine around and move it back down. So I am a firm believer in just owning your mistakes. I say it all the time at work, if you stuff up, I don't care. Just make it known, make it public. Make other people aware of what you've done. Because if you try and hide it, and say for instance I did, I could easily have just edited that out, touched this up with a bit of whiteout, sent it on its way and just decline everything. But where's the point in that? I'm going to lose the respect of my subscribers, and I'm certainly going to lose the respect of the customer, and he's never want to come back. That is not the sort of person that I am. I'm a firm believer if you do something that harms someone else, like you hurt someone, whether it be verbally, whether you crash into someone's car, whether you damage someone's car or property, just own up to it. Hey, you know what? I stuffed up. Put your hand up. What are you going to lose? They're going to be angry at you. They can't be angry at you forever. I'm offering to fix this, which I'm going to. This car not only needs a bit of love in terms of the paintwork because it's been sitting out for so long and you can actually see like the dust and crap that's on there. It was also painted probably about 12 to 18 months ago, so it definitely needs to be touched up, which is a service that I believe I am responsible for, which I clearly am. The fact that I've A, admitted it on YouTube, and B, I've filmed it and acknowledged it as well. So I'm definitely going to be fixing this. It'll either be before I send the car back to the customer, we're going to give it a detail and a polish, or I'll arrange with the customer at a later date. So just want to put it out there as to that's what sort of person I am. I'm, as I said, I'm a firm believer in if you do damage like this, there is no point trying to hide it. Just own it. Who cares? Like, you've owned it. What do I got to do to make this right? If it costs me $100, it costs me $1,000. That means more to people and owning that stuff than it is trying to hide it. Because as soon as you try and hide stuff like this, especially on YouTube, or the fact that I work through doing this on the side as a small business, the last thing I want to do is ruin my reputation, and that's not the sort of person that I am. So yeah, if you hurt someone, if you damage their car, their property, whatever it is, just own up. Just leave a note, say sorry. An apology means more to me than anything else. So I hope I've really demonstrated what sort of person I am in this video. Essentially moving forward from here, I'll get that touched up either before or after I give it back to the customer, which I will obviously be paying for. We're just going to keep going ahead with the engine reinstallation. We're still going to wait for my mate to come back with the carburetor in terms of what we need. I believe that the carby float inside the bowl is incorrect, and there's a couple of things I need as well, so a couple extra longer studs, so you'll see that on another episode, kind of mismatched in between. But yeah, at this stage we're just going to keep going, put everything else back together. There's I think 1 or 2 more components that I actually need to paint, which I'll get onto soon, but this thing's looking really good. I'm really impressed with how it is, and as I said the other day, like, this is one of the best engine that I've done, simply because of the way that the car looks. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's stop chin wagging and get this thing done.
Right, so as you can see, perspiration central down here at Tomo's Tune-Ups. Man, it is hot. It is mugged, it's humid, it's ridiculous. So as you just saw in that last scene, I'm sorry that the audio is crap, I don't have my mic on at the moment. Essentially, when I pulled, when I went to put the carburetors in, I couldn't fit them in because everything on this side's already been fitted. I couldn't roll the engine far enough forward to be able to slide it in. I did have to remove the studs for the inlet and exhaust manifold, which then meant taking them all out other than the two end ones. So the one on the bell housing end and the one on the crankshaft pulley end. Carby is now situated in the engine bay. Great success! But the downside is now I need apprentice Kev to come around and put those studs back in so we can put the nuts back on so then we can tighten that up. Man, it is tight in there. Proper tight. Essentially, moving forward from here, I need to reposition that choke cable because that is currently in the wrong position. I am going to get oil pressure. So, we are going to take the cap off. We are going to grab a bottle of this Wins friction proofing. We're going to put that in there. I use that generally inside engines to make sure that it seals, protects, and does everything it needs to inside an engine, especially that is freshly been rebuilt. Now you can add this stuff inside an engine that already has kilometers or miles on it. You generally do it every sort of second service. This actually is in the Guinness Book of Records, I believe, that someone added this to their vehicle. They drove around for so long, they then drained all of the oil out. They drove it from Melbourne to Townsville or even Cape York, so probably about a 2.5 to 3,000 kilometer journey. They pulled the engine apart when they got there, and it had actually created that much of a film of oil protection that all the bearings, the pump, everything inside the engine was completely fine. So apparently this stuff is in the Guinness Book of Records. I'll see if I can find it and put in the link in the description below. But we're going to fill it with engine oil and then move forward to getting oil pressure. Then next episode, once I've done all this off camera, we're then going to start the car. All right, so inside the cabin, now comes the time of hoping, fingers crossed, we have oil pressure. Let's have a look. All right, might need to give it another go. Alright, so it's not starting straight away. I've just taken the plugs out of it, and let's see if we can get this thing cranking again. Just give it a little bit more turnability, I guess.